With the start of the European Championships, no doubt we'll all be watching dozens of games featuring the world's best players and teams fighting it out for Europe's ultimate international trophy. If you're watching from outside the UK, or you might be due to go away on your holidays, many games are subject to regional broadcasting rights, making it difficult to enjoy the games you want to watch if you're in a different country. Well, fear not, because Surfshark have got you covered. Surfshark VPN allows users to connect to servers in different countries, effectively bypassing these geo-restrictions and allowing you to watch football matches on different channels and streaming services from anywhere in the world. Surfshark VPN provides users with access to servers in numerous countries. This means that football fans can easily switch their virtual location to countries where matches are freely available or where broadcasting rights are less restricted. We all want to watch the games live. Well, thanks to Surfshark VPN, we can, no matter which country we're in, whether you're on your holidays, whether you're watching from abroad, no matter where you are, with Surfshark VPN, you can watch the Euros. Surfshark VPN also encrypts your internet connection, ensuring that your online activities, including streaming matches during the Euros, remain private and secure. We all need that bit of security, and Surfshark gives you that. This is very useful if you're accessing streaming sites from public Wi-Fi networks where security risks may be higher. You might not even want to watch the Euros. You might want to break from the football and decide to watch the latest Netflix show. Baby Reindeer is one we've all been watching and debating on this channel. We've also been getting into true crime stories and true crime documentaries on Netflix. I love a true crime documentary on Netflix, and thanks to Surfshark VPN, no matter where I am in the world, I'm able to access Netflix and watch them. By connecting to optimized servers provided by Surfshark VPN, users may experience faster streaming speeds and reduce buffering, so you're not waiting ages to see if that last-minute winner actually did go in. There's nothing worse, is there, when you're watching a game and you think, oh, this is it, this is a crucial moment in the game, it's the last minute, or there's a penalty, is he going to score? And then your screen starts buffering. It is incredibly frustrating. Well, thanks to Surfshark VPN, you don't need to worry about that. Overall, Surfshark VPN offers football fans the flexibility, security, and accessibility they need to watch the Euros from anywhere in the world, making it the best choice for streaming content. England may end up disappointing us this summer, but Surfshark definitely won't. Use the code SAM24, Scotty and Motty, SAM24. There's a link in the description to this video and get an extra 4 months free.
Yes, the Euros are on, but that doesn't mean we have any time off for pre-season to get our nails done or whatever Marcus Rashford and co, who aren't going to the Euros, are doing. I'm Scotty, that's Motty. I don't know where I was going with that. Like they were going to get the nails done.
No.
Footballers get the nails done.
Start again. Go on.
We're not having a pre-season. It's not that one.
There you go.
Which is, every time we do this, you say you do it 10 seconds before the start.
I say that, right, but you demanded. You insisted you were going to do it, right?
I was trying to impress the boss.
Shut your mouth, I'm doing this one, move out of the way, this is my gig, stop getting in on it, yeah? And then you went on about pedicures, or whatever it was you were saying. Was it pedicures or manicures?
It's manicure, innit?
Oh, was it manicures? Why you get some done?
I was saying Marcus Rashford and whatever people are doing in their pre-season. We're not doing that because we're providing stuff for the people that are watching at home during the... Is Belgium finished now?
No, it's still going. We tried to do it a little bit later today because the Belgian game... And you know what? I just thought, rather than going later, we'll just go while the Belgian game is on, because I'm sure a lot of people aren't that fussed. Although my missus is a big Belgian fan. So
yeah, this is the first time.
She'll be raging at VAR, which has disallowed 2 goals, I think.
Yeah, they're getting beat 1-0. Anyway, I'm Scotty, that's Motty. If you've not already, subscribe and like and share the show, please. We're going to be talking about England's less than impressive win over Serbia. We're going to be talking about Ten Hag's comments about Southgate and the Ineos staff turning up like bailiffs at his front door, demanding for him to get back to Old Trafford. And also, I wanted to discuss Sergio Ramos as an outside bet of coming to Old Trafford.
Oh, I saw that, right? I saw the tweet.
I was joking, by the way.
Right, but I saw the tweet, and then it did remind me of those Ramos rumours when he wanted a new deal at Real Madrid, and he basically said, I'd always been a United fan, I wouldn't mind going there. Yeah. And then it was under Van Gaal, wasn't it? And then it was like United are going to get him, and then in the end we didn't get him. He signed a new deal at Madrid.
No, but I think Sergio Ramos is probably one of a handful of players that have never played for Manchester United, but yet are heroes in the club. You could probably file him alongside Demba Ba.
Just because of that game against Liverpool in the Champions League final.
Oh, the Moscow turf.
That was amazing, that, wasn't it? Yeah. And the amazing thing about that as well was the meltdown that caused when he had that incident with Mo Salah where he slightly pulled him. Mo Salah does his shoulder, and then the meltdown, which culminated in the guy from Brookside offering Ramos a fight.
Amazing.
That was peak. That was just, there was nothing better than that.
No, not at all. So we're going to be getting into that, but first should we look at the England game? Southgate's coming under fire after the performance yesterday. We did the watch along on Stretford Paddock. It wasn't great. I wasn't expecting it to be an amazing performance. I thought Serbia might have been better than they were first half, I'd say, Jay. I thought England had the majority of the ball and didn't do anything with it. And then there was the experiment with Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield, which, on reflection, I think what Gareth Southgate's trying to do is change his persona. You know, like the like the guy in work who's not cool at all, and is aware that he's got the impression that, you know, people just think him a little bit too straight-laced, too conservative, you know, and he comes in wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Like Joe Smith.
Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold was Gareth Southgate's dropping the waistcoat and putting on a Hawaiian shirt,
look,
and it didn't work.
I can be adventurous. You know what I mean? I'll play right back in midfield. That's how crazy I am. Maybe, yeah. I think with Southgate, he's fallen into that trap that every single England manager since Sir Alf Ramsey has fallen into. And the problem you have when you manage at international level or with England is you will have several players who are either world class or almost world class for the same position, and then you won't have enough players in other positions who are anywhere near that level. So back in the day when we were growing up, sort of the late 90s, early 90s, you had Scholes, you had Lampard, you had Gerrard, who were all pretty much wanted to operate in a similar position. So what did Sven-Göran Eriksson do? He shifted Scholes over to the left wing. Then when Scholes retires, because basically he's just like, he's not really feeling England or whatever, you've still got Gerrard and Lampard. So what does, whether it was Hodgson or whoever, or Sven still, or Capello, what do they try and do? They try and fit them both in.
Yeah.
When what you actually needed to do was make a decision. One of them's good enough, one of them ain't. Let's drop one of them and let's play Michael Carrick or someone in a holding midfield role and have the other one in front of him instead of trying to make it work. And I feel that's what's happened here with Trent Alexander-Arnold. England, bizarrely, if everyone's fit, have got three right-backs who you could argue are, two of them I would say are almost world-class, if not world-class, and one of them is world-class at certain attributes. So, Reece James, when he's fit, I think is phenomenal. I think he's one of the best right-backs in the world. Yeah,
great player.
Kyle Walker, pains me to say because he's a City player, obviously, I think is an outstanding right-back. When he's on it, he's unreal, and you can put someone like Vinicius Jr. or Kylian Mbappe in his pocket and still be a threat himself, which is just ridiculous. Again, it pains me to say it. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold, at things like dead balls, at whipping balls in, is mint. There's no point in denying that. Defensively, he can be questionable. So you've got three players there that are very, very good at their job. Now, Reece James is injured, so he's no longer in the conversation. Kyle Walker, for me, if he's fit, he plays. Then you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, what you just do there, if I'm the England manager, say, well, all right, I've got a very good right back and I've got a very good backup. Gareth Southgate's gone, well, I can't leave Trent out, so I'm going to stick him in midfield. Yeah. And for me, that's just dumb. I think that's just stupid because I don't think you need to do that. And I also don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield is good enough to warrant that. No,
I mean, you laid out there that he's not very good at defending, which is ironic considering his position for Liverpool is a defender. And from yesterday, you can't have a right back that can't play with his back to goal. You know what I mean? Like if we're sort of like wanting balls in the box or he's looking for a sweet pass, dictating play. I could maybe see with that a little bit, but I didn't see any of that yesterday. But it was just such a bizarre decision, and I think one he's got away with as well. But there was more than just the Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment that didn't work. If you look at, I felt for Phil Foden. What was Phil Foden's position yesterday? Well, that's one of the worst performances I've seen for Phil Foden. I don't think it's down to him.
I'm glad you brought this up because it's a strange one with Phil Foden, right? And I want to ask you about this because you're saying, right, you feel for Phil Foden, it weren't his position. He's playing on the left-hand side, right? Now, I left the studio yesterday and I was thinking, am I tripping, right? Or did I not see Phil Foden tear United apart from the left-hand side of a front three for Manchester City? Because I remember Aaron Wan-Bissaka used to handle Raheem Sterling every game, put him in his pocket, whether it's at the Etihad at Old Trafford, and just bully him. And then they started playing Phil Foden, and he couldn't cope with him. Because Phil Foden is a different type of player, and he seemed to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka's number. He'd drop really deep, or he'd go wandering in the middle, and he's on the ball. He's probably technically a little bit better than Sterling. And you noticed that Wan-Bissaka was struggling. I remember Foden playing on that left-hand side where he's playing for England. So I thought, well, that, for me, doesn't ring true. So I looked online, and City fans who I know, and there's about two of them that I get on with, there's only two City fans in general, but there's two of them that I follow. They were pointing out, like, Phil Foden has played on the left-hand side for City and won titles there. He doesn't always play there now, but he has in the past. So there's that point. The other point that people were making, and I'm guilty of making this point myself, is, all right, well, look at who he's playing alongside for Manchester City, and look at who he's playing alongside for England. But then I'd go, all right, there's a fair comment. He's not got Erling Haaland up front. Instead, he's got Harry Kane. Is that a massive drop-off? I'd argue it isn't. He's not got De Bruyne. He's got Bellingham. I think De Bruyne is probably a superior player, but it's not a massive drop-off. He's not got Rodri, he's got Declan Rice. Again, I'd say Rodri's a better player, but it's not you going from, Waitrose to Aldi. No disrespect to those, to Aldi. So I thought, and also, the level of opposition. I've seen Phil Foden banging in goals in the Bernabeu, and yet against Serbia, against Iceland, he's struggling. So I don't know what it is. And the only thing I can think of personally, and by all means get involved in the chat and the comments, is we saw it slightly on a graphic last night of there being a bit of crowding in that area he was operating in.
It was so congested there. It just seemed like he was playing a lot deeper as well than he usually did. Especially the game against United that he was playing, like he was bombing down the wing and then cutting inside. And he's a different sort of winger. But if it wasn't working, which it wasn't, why are you not making the substitutions?
That in-game management by Southgate is. I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? And I've got to say this as well. I'm not Southgate's biggest fan, and we're going to get into some of the criticisms he's got, including from Erik ten Hag. But he won. And me and you were chatting last night, and you raised a good question. What's more important? Playing football like the right way, getting a style, letting everyone know, what you want to do. Obviously, ideally, you'd want to do both, or getting a result. And I think for that first game in a group, get the win. Just get the win, yeah? Like, that is the moment. Because if you don't get that win, it causes all sorts of dramas. It's a meltdown, and other teams look at it, and then just qualification is up in the air. Get that first win, and then you can go, right, okay, look, wasn't a great performance. Here's what we need to improve on, and you try and improve on it. And that's what Gareth Southgate's got to do. However, the players he's got at his disposal, the way he sort of managed them, it is slightly flawed for me. And it worries me that we're in now, I think, the third tournament that Phil Foden is starting for England, and we're no nearer to finding out his best position in this England side, getting the best out of him than we were back in 2021, was it, when they were Euros? I know it was odd.
We've spoke about Ten Hag, I mean in particular about the criticism of an identity of what his Manchester United players wants to do or the strategy he's doing. Was this his fourth tournament, did you say, Southgate's, or third tournament?
Gareth Southgate's, sorry, it's there's the World Cup 2018, the Euros after that, the World Cup after that, and this Euros. So it's his fourth, and I think it's Foden's third. I think this will be his second Euros and one World Cup where he's featured.
Right, okay, so it's not just Southgate trying to work out the Foden conundrum about how he's going to play him. It's how is he playing with England? Because still I didn't see any identity in that. All the friendlies leading up to it. If you look at the teams like, I'll refer to Italy in the first 45 minutes, if you just look past the sort of freak Albania goal, we're playing great football. Spalletti's been there less than a year. Spain as well.
No.
Germany. Nagelsmann's not been there a year.
Do you think sometimes some of these teams sort of, it's like the Claudio Ranieri effect at Leicester. Claudio Ranieri, right, the tinker man, messes about with his squad, messes about with his teams, never really had any success, goes to Leicester. He's been around for years. I don't think he'd ever won a title. Leicester barely stayed up the year before. He wins a title. And one of the reasons that he managed to do it, not all the only reason, but one of them is he's got a very good team. Yeah. And he hasn't got a squad. So he don't change the team. Other than Danny Simpson coming in for Christian Fuchs, I don't think he changes it at all during the season because he can't tinker. Because he can't take off Jamie Vardy or swap Riyad Mahrez and go.
His job's quite straightforward. Yeah. Keep them fit.
Yeah, and make sure they're happy. Yeah. And he does that, and he just needs to get on with it, and they beat everyone and they win the league. Maybe there's an element of that to Spalletti or others where they've not got as many players in the same position, so their job's made a little bit easier because it's like, I know I'm going to play.
Right, so he's got too many ingredients at his disposal that is making a mess of the meal.
Yeah.
The thing is with that though,
that's what I'm not saying it is. I don't know enough about Spanish or Italian football. But
but even with the England team, me and you would probably pick the same 11 to start. I imagine.
The only difference I would have picked yesterday, had it been my choice, was I would have picked Kobbie Mainoo instead of Trent Alexander.
Yeah, I would have done that, but I understood why he didn't. But that would be the difference that I would have. So I think, and in the majority, everyone would probably pick that 11.
You make a good point because some of them are nailed on. Bellingham nailed on.
The spine of the team.
Rice is nailed on. Stones is nailed on.
Pickford,
Kane, Saka, even and then Walker, and then you look at even Trippier because you ain't got another choice. So then you look at it, you're going, okay, Foden, am I going to drop Phil Foden? What do if I don't drop him then, what do I do with him? And at the minute, he's trying to play him on the left. But the trouble is, Harry Kane isn't operating as an out-and-out striker, is he leading the line? He's dropping deep a lot of the time.
Kane likes to drop deep,
and he likes to drop over to that left-hand side a little bit because he's right-footed. And so he's there. Bellingham was there at times. I mean, it just looks a bit of a even Rice can operate in that sort of space because he bombs forward. And again, if you're right-footed, sometimes you can drift over to the left to use your right foot. So there was a graphic and it showed it just looked dead congested. And I think that's where managers maybe got to get involved with the players on the training ground and say, look, fucking stay out of that space. Do you know what I mean? Because at one point, Bukayo Saka was completely on his own on the right, and he looked the better for it because he was actually getting a bit of joy.
Yeah, because he had space not only from the Serbians but also from his own teammates.
Yeah. There was no one crowding him out from England.
And that's where the goal came through down that side, right. And that was probably where any threat was going to come through further on.
It's a good point as well because in the second half, England nearly scored a second.
The Kane header
from Jared Bowen on that right hand side, whipping in a great ball for Kane, who more or less did everything right, but it produced a good save from the Serbian goalkeeper. I'll get involved in some of the chat and the comments. Hit that like button as well, please, people. Let's get to 100 likes. Sorry, I've not been keeping up to date with the chat, so we'll get into it. Suze82 says Southgate is a fraud. Luke S says Southgate punched my nan, true story. Mick Holohan's in the chat. James Barry says evening all from Kilkenny. Jeff Spencer says insipid and timid, typical England with Southgate. Such great players in there, but as usual, less than the sum of their parts. Semis at the most. James Barry was asking about the goal that was disallowed. Sorry, I don't know what went on there, but I know that Slovakia beat Belgium, so that is a big upset there. Belgium, I feel like their chance has gone.
Yeah, I was just friendly arguing with comedian Kay Kurd on Twitter before. He was saying that Belgium are the Spurs of international football, and I said no, England are the Spurs of international football.
Well, you look at the Belgian team. We'll just get into it quickly. So the front six, if I'm getting the maths right there, is Mangala, Onana, Doku, De Bruyne, Trossard, Lukaku. I mean, it's not bad. But you feel like, a few years ago, Eden Hazard was in that mix, wasn't he? And also De Bruyne was a few years younger.
These are De Bruyne and Lukaku, the golden years, the twilight years.
Twilight years. I saw the first half, and Lukaku was played in, and his touch let him down a little bit when he should have done a bit better. And I think, for me, Lukaku, I hate using this term, but I'm going to use it anyway. He's a bit of a flat trap bully. He's one of them who can get you 20 goals a season. He did it at United. He got was it 17 goals? Yeah. Yeah, how many of them were against top 6 teams?
No.
None.
Yeah.
And he's the same, you've seen him in competition with Belgium. I think it was the 2018 World Cup, was it? I can't remember if it was Brazil or France when he had that one chance. And that's the chance you've got to take in international football when you get into the latter stages.
He's not a clinical striker.
So against City for Inter.
Oh, yeah.
That header. And that's probably the thing. And also now, you look at that back 4 or back 5, Castile's in goal, Castagna, Faze, De Bast and Carrasco. Decent, but, a few years ago, they had...
What's that group look like now then, if they've lost that? I'm not too sure what the Belgium group is.
Let's have a look. We'll get into this.
Make sure you're subscribing and liking, please. We're close to 11,000 subs.
Yeah, let's do that, man. Let's get into that. Let's get to that group. That target. So they're third. So it's Romania top. They beat Ukraine earlier on, 3-0.
So Belgium hasn't got easy games, man.
That's what I mean, man. Romania. To be fair, the Romania-Ukraine game, the Ukrainian keeper had an absolute shocker.
Yeah.
But, still a big win.
I've always had a soft spot for Romania, though. I think it might be from the '94 World Cup, the Hadjis.
Yeah, mate, I was looking at that before. George Hadji was such a good player.
Yeah, there's a few others in the... Who was the other?
There was Dumitrescu.
Yeah,
Petrescu.
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday and Chelsea.
Yeah. So that night, I think that 94 team, they got to the quarters, didn't they?
Yeah.
And George Hadji was class. One of the few players who played for both Barca and Real Madrid. But he never won a league either.
Really?
Do you know what, right? I was looking at his career because, I was watching Romania-Ukraine and it reminded me of George Hadji. And I thought, George Hadji, I remember him when I was a kid. And he was mint and everyone raved about it. I was looking at his career and he went to... In fact, I'll bring it up now. He went to...
he was in Italy for a while.
Yeah, he's like... Considering who he played for, what he won, it wasn't great. So he was at Real Madrid from 1990 to 1992. And then he was at Barcelona. He went from Real Madrid. He went to Brescia in Italy, and then he went to Barcelona. So obviously the two big boys there. And if you look at his honours, in Real Madrid, his biggest honour was he was runner-up in the Copa del Rey, and he won the Supercopa España, which is it's like obviously the Super Cup. And then when he was at Barcelona, he was runner-up again in the Copa del Rey, and he won the Super Cup. So he never won he spent 4 years in Spain and he played for the two biggest clubs. What a player. I mean, he won the UEFA Cup with Galatasaray, he won loads of titles with Galatasaray, he won loads of titles in his home country as well, Romania. Also as a manager, he went back to Galatasaray, he won the Turkish Cup, and just loads of individual awards, including 4th in the Ballon d'Or. So it's not like, and also I think he was one of the players at the tournament in 1994. They
look good though, Romania. I know the keeper had a few mistakes, but I love about just when you see the pure emotion, because when they can't believe the 3-0 up. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we're going to cry now. You're like, so happy.
I love that. Do you know what? International football, right? The competitions, I love the group stages.
Yeah,
when you've got all these different teams in, everyone's got like a little. Everyone's having a little.
There's been 2 shocks today, though, and there possibly could be another one because Austria with Ralf Rangnick are doing decent, so there could be an upset on the cards for left blue.
Yeah, let's have a look at Austria because it's easy to just completely dismiss Ralf Rangnick.
I'll ask our viewers a question while you're getting the information. Right, okay. So I was listening to TalkSport earlier on and this morning, and someone was saying we should get rid of Southgate, and then they were like mid-tournament.
That's so reactionary.
Right. So,
that's like,
sack him.
We've won.
After beating Serbia 1-0 in the first.
How do you think the players are going to respond to that?
Well, they got me thinking. Has there ever been a manager sacked during an international tournament, whether Euros or World Cup? And I know the number.
Yeah.
So let's see if you're watching. How many the number of international managers that have been sacked mid-tournament? I'd be amazed. And don't be Googling it. Do you know how many?
Sacked mid-tournament?
Yeah.
3.
Okay, go on. You're doing Ralph.
Right, so the Austrian results, they've been smashing.
They beat Germany, didn't they?
I'm just going backwards. They drew with Switzerland. They beat Serbia, battered Turkey, beat Slovakia, beat Germany 2-0, beat Estonia, beat Azerbaijan, lost to Belgium in the qualifiers. Obviously didn't matter because they went through anyway. Beat Sweden. Drew Moldova, beat Sweden again, and drew Belgium. So they've been doing well.
Yeah,
they're fine. Go on then. What's the answer? In fact, wait a minute. Let me see what other people are saying.
See if people are actually getting involved.
Is anyone getting it? Let us know if you know the answer to Scotty's.
Yeah. Scotty conundrum. How many managers have been sacked?
Sean Smith says there was one at AFCON this year. So are you including AFCON?
Yes.
So AFCON, the Euros, the Copa America, and obviously the World Cup. So can I increase my guess then? Because I didn't know AFCON was an option. No. And some of those African nations, when it comes to their teams, they do things that are just off the scale.
Okay, so you want to change it from 3?
Yeah, I'm going to change it to 12.
12, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the answer?
3.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my own fault for being disparaging about African football, and someone said about the AFCON.
Yeah,
Right.
Gassett got sacked by the Ivory Coast earlier on
Right.
this year, and I think South Korea sacked their coach after 2 matches in what was that, in the World Cup? And I think Tunisia got rid of their. When England beat Tunisia in the 1998 World Cup, they sacked their manager.
Right.
Could you be arsed? I remember Spain did it a few years ago, but that was the closest one, wasn't it? That was before the tournament started.
There was the one in 2006 as well where they didn't sack Raymond Domenech. But the players took over.
Yeah,
like I think Zidane and Vieira and Thuram and all them lot. And,
how did they do that year?
They just went, no.
How did they do for the French that year?
They got to the final, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah.
He was the one who was...
Do you not remember? They got to the final because they were flopping. Go on.
That was Zidane headbutting. Right, yeah. That manager was the one who used to be into astrology and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, he said I won't have 2 Virgos in my midfield, and I'm not having a Scorpio up front and things like that. And he said it out loud once, and then the press picked up on it and said, "You're mental."
I like that.
And then apparently in 2006 they went to the World Cup. They were having a bit of a difficult time of it. The senior players, some of whom it was like their last tournament, were like, "You can fuck off. We're picking this team and we're deciding what's going on." This is the rumours anyway. It's never.
Can you imagine that if Ten Hag did that next season? Why are you not playing Marcus? It's Pisces.
I'm not. Pisces out on the left wing. Are you insane? Hey, when I've got a Libra sat there, who am I going to pick? Don't be stupid. In sacking, you probably get sectioned. So the rumours were that the players took over, started doing their own thing, pick the team themselves. But I don't know how true.
Yeah, I love that. They're the stories that I love of the international football. It's not so much just what's happening on the pitch; it's the stuff that's happening outside.
And the great thing about that was, I think in 2010 they had the full meltdown, didn't they? With
South Africa,
and everyone fighting. And apparently there's rumours there that they again tried to take over. And I think at one point, didn't he fly home and then come back?
Yeah. They love a good old revolt, don't they, the French?
Yeah, that's why they're on the Fifth Republic for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Get involved in the chat and let us know. Glenn F says, "So David, is Erik ten Hag still in, or is the jury out?" So what? Get into Erik ten Hag. I think you've said, haven't you, that
for where we are now. I said on the show last week. I think clean slate. We're going to a new season. Fully behind the manager, and I never wanted him to fail. I just didn't think he would succeed. Obviously, if I'm wrong that ten Hag's the right man, then United, win. So I'm fully behind him. It'd be interesting now though, because it's obvious Ineos want Ten Hag, but does Ten Hag want Ineos? Because
existential question.
Them going cap in hand, to Ibiza when he's buzzing his nut off, coming down from Manumission, great club. You've been to Ibiza?
Yeah, I went.
Do you remember much of it?
No, I think I wasn't actually on drugs. I think I just drank.
Yeah,
but
my mate used to spend 5 months out there.
Is it Zoo Projects?
I think so. Yeah, 5 months a year he used to spend out there.
Mate, I've got a mate who still goes out there, and he's my age, and he's still determined that he's going to make it as a DJ in Ibiza.
2 words, Wayne Lineker.
Yeah, exactly. He got punched in it the other day, Wayne Lineker.
Yeah.
You see that? He's a bizarre guy, anyway, Wayne Lineker.
They don't talk, them two.
Wayne and Gary. Would you talk to Wayne Lineker if you?
I wouldn't talk to Gary.
Would you?
Would you rather have the career?
Oh God, here we go.
Here we go. Is your missus watching this now? Is she back on Belgium?
It's all right.
Would you rather have the career of Gary Lineker, or the lifestyle of Wayne?
Well, Scott, in my head, I had the lifestyle of Wayne. I'd probably have the career of Gary Lineker.
Yeah.
There's an element of, you don't want your kids being embarrassed when they're talking about you, or they turn on the telly or go on.
No matter what, you don't think your kids are embarrassed of you now?
No, not to that level. Imagine he's 62, Wayne Lineker. Yeah. He's running around like I'd be embarrassed doing that at 44, doing what he's doing. I'd feel a bit like I'm giving myself the ick by chatting up teenagers and getting on it.
It's very, very
come on, bro.
Perfect. I'm being tongue in cheek.
There's a time when you've got to retire from that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you can still have a good time and do all that, but should you be running around, chasing after kids?
Too much Viagra is bad for your heart.
That's what I mean, and he doesn't look well. He's 62, but he looks an old 62.
He looks like a negative of Xavi.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah, it's not great. And then you saw him, and I don't condone violence. I don't think it's particularly nice hitting a 62-year-old anyway. And from what I gather, he didn't even do much wrong. He just got one arrowed. But then you think, you're running around a beef, and I know people go, he's living his best life. Look at the lifestyle he's got. Look at how he's living and that. But I just think, mate, you know what I mean? Come on. He turned it around, though, didn't he? He went to jail and everything, mate.
Did he?
Yeah, he went to jail for fraud.
Yeah.
Maybe about 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But yeah, he managed to turn it around.
From one IB for punch up to somebody else who was taking firing shots from IB for. Do you think that he was having a dig at Ratcliffe in his?
No.
You don't? See, I think you missed this when you were talking firing shots earlier on. He said this is the first time of them in football. Obviously, it's not because they've been at Nice for 3 years.
Yeah, I get that. I think he might have just misspoke there. I don't think he's particularly trying to be like arsey or funny or.
He's difficult to read, isn't he, Ten Hag?
Yeah.
Like you don't know if he's being sarcastic or.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what he was doing there with that. I don't personally think he's having a dig.
Yeah.
And I think he's in a bit of a difficult position as well, Erik, tonight, because he's obviously, he's allowed to do media and he's allowed to do analysis for Dutch TV or whatever. He's getting asked about the fact that everyone knows Thomas Tuchel and everyone got interviewed. So he can't say, oh, well, I don't know about that. Or he's got to be honest to a certain degree. He said that, yeah, they told him that they spoke to Tuchel. They came to the conclusion that they already had the best manager. And he's put, Ineos are new into football, so it's normal to take their time and reflect the season. It's no secret that they told multiple candidates for Man United job. In England, it's allowed. I get that. They're not new to football. They've been around for a little while, but maybe there's a bit of, I wouldn't say lost in translation there, but maybe it's a bit like, he's just saying, relatively speaking, the new.
I think they've made amends with the fan base with keeping Ten Hag on, although he hasn't signed a new contract yet. But this could have been so much easier. Like, why wait until the last game of the season? Like there was obvious question marks earlier on as when they could have been speaking to people. If they interviewed Thomas Tuchel, it was obvious he was leaving Bayern Munich in February.
Yeah.
You could have had a meeting before then. Like it didn't need to be left until after the last game of the season and then go through all this. I think it's been a bit of a PR disaster, and I said last week it's give leverage to Ten Hag now because he'll say, no, I want a 4-year contract.
Yeah, no,
I want X, Y, and Z, and then they're going to go, well, we want you to have this position. So it's a bit strange. Is there any part of you, now that he's staying for at least one more season contractually, that this could be his last season on his own terms? Are you worried that he could go?
I'm worried if he could go because I think if he goes, it's because they've got rid of him rather than him walking. I can't imagine they've had a conversation. We had Laurie Whitwell on Paddock before, and he was sort of saying about this new structure. Everyone knows there's this new structure coming in. Erik ten Hag isn't going to be given the freedom that he had with transfers, and he isn't going to be given the sort of the authority that he had in terms of I want Antony, I want Martinez, I want Mason Mount. But it's not all doom and gloom because he's going to be given players. So if he says like, look, I need a midfielder, and they'll go, well, these are the midfielders we've got. I presume it's going to be like, look, we're looking at these midfielders. Are you happy with them? We're going to try and get one of these or whatever. It's a similar way to where Klopp works at Liverpool. You remember the famous sort of overlap interview that Jamie Carragher did that Jurgen Klopp never pushed back on, where he said that Jurgen Klopp, when he got into Liverpool from Dortmund, he said, I want Julian Brand as my right-sided attacker, I think. And the club were like, no, we've got someone else we're going to get for you called Mo Salah. He was like, well, I know Brand, we're going to get Mo Salah, trust us, we've scouted him, he fits your system. And I think there might be a bit more of that.
So are we going down the Moneyball thing? Are we doing the Moneyball thing?
I don't know if it's necessarily a Moneyball thing. I think if you're doing the Moneyball thing, you don't go for someone like Jared Branthwaite as one of your first targets because I think he's going to cost...
Do you think they'll go for him for that amount of money though? Not
for 70 million. I think the opening bid was 35. It's a good player to go for United for a multitude of reasons, Jared Branthwaite. He is a good player, and I know Steve Howson doesn't rate him that highly, and others have questioned it. We spoke to Matt Dempsey, who's a big Evertonian. I've spoken to a few Evertonians, and from what I've seen of him myself, he looks like a decent footballer. He's 21 years old. I'm a firm believer that players can improve as well, and I think we're too quick in football now to go at 21. That's...
Well, I don't think a true representation of a 21-year-old in an Everton team that's going through what it's going through is a fair representation of his ability.
So I think he can...
It's the financial side of it, though, isn't it? That's it.
Now, if Ineos say, right, our ceiling is 50, we ain't going over that, and they stick to that, that's different than Woodward era.
I want them to do that, though.
And I think it sends a message to everyone. Look, this isn't
we're not getting our pants pulled down anymore.
The Murtaugh Woodward era where you want 80 million for Harry Maguire, forget it. And then
we can do
2
things
weeks.
in this transfer market that other clubs can only dream of. It's just a shame we can't do the things on the pitch that we dream of anymore. That's what it was.
That is a very good point. Before I wrap up, I'm going to do a few comments. Glenn F says, England, vive la France. England need a revolution. Cheers, Jay, for reading the question, and cheers for giving me a convoluted answer on Erik ten Hag. He has to stay on till we win the league. Eddie Howe would be better. England manager, says James Barry. Miles, if Erik ten Hag thinks the personnel that are coming in are more competent than those on arrival, I'd imagine he's okay with reallocating responsibilities and collaborating. Mick Holohan says, don't budge on the fee. Sick of the club been paying over the odds for years. Yeah, I have to sort of agree with that. I think now is the time where we finally have to set down a bit of a marker and say, look, enough is enough. We're not going to have our pants pulled down. You know, that era is over. We'll wrap it up there. A big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, make sure you check it out, Surfshark.
Yeah, there's a link in the description. Use the code SAM, Scotty and Motty 24. And
30 days money back, innit? That's right.
Yes.
What are you laughing for?
Extra 4 months free is the extra 4 months free is the exact. It's a
great deal.
It's a great deal. So check out the link.
Work on the market.
Big thank you to them helping out the channel, keeps the lights on. That's been Scotty. I've been Motty. This has been the live Monday night podcast. Thanks for watching.
You're looking so smug for.